Good morning, good morning. Welcome back to day 2 of our Sweet November Winter Fairy Tale release. This is Amy with you, and we are going to be doing a live coloring of Emma Everfrost. She was the winner of the little poll that I put up earlier this morning. And this time, I decided to pair her up with the current little freebie that we have in the group, Peppy the Penguin. And yes, we've got penguins, and he is actually going to inspire me to color up this. It's originally kind of a little baby owl, but we are going to turn it into a penguin as well, which will be an easy thing to do. So I thought that would be fun and different, and a different way to use these two. We've got T. Hello, hello. Good morning. I'm just going to let a few more people find us and yeah, get this party rolling right along today. Just wanted to thank everybody. We've had a really great response to this release. So that's exciting, and it's always fun to know that you love seeing the new stamps that are getting put out there, and I cannot wait to see what you start creating with them. I saw Carrie Ann yesterday. She colored right along with that first coloring, which was awesome, and she's got some other ones already printed out waiting to go, so I'd love to see that. I'll be putting up the challenge album today for the January Sweet November posting challenge, and be sure put all your projects that you make this month using this January release, which includes Peppy the Penguin, the freebie. It also will include the Sweet November Vault that's coming up in a couple weekends. And then, of course, all the fairies and critters from this Winter Fairy Tale release. And you make your card or creation and put it in that album that I'll be posting today. And not only are you entered in for a chance to win the entire February release, but everybody who plays along is guaranteed to get the exclusive little February fairy tot. So that's a fun little incentive to get you guys to share your creativity with all of us. Emma is your favorite. Isn't that cool? I think it's neat that they each have their own personalities, and kind of are certain, different people are drawn to different ones, and that's a great thing. So I'm going to start pulling skin tone colors. And get ready while we see if anybody else is coming on. I know it's hard. Middle of the week is not ideal. Most people are probably busy either at work or, I think lots of kids went back to school today. So I completely understand if we don't have as many people around today. That's the nice thing, though. They can always catch us on the replay. All right, I'm going to get started with the skin. Oh, before I do, we have the random winner from the voting for who we were coloring up today. And the random winner was Julie Richards. So congratulations to Julie. You get your choice of free digi-stamp. And so you'll just have to PM me and let me know, and I will hook you up with that. Oh, we've got Mel and we've got Pam. Hello, ladies. Happy to have you with us this morning. I'm just about to get going on Emma here. A darker skin tone. I thought about that. If that's what you guys want to see, I am very open to that. Let's grab out. Okay. So we'll go a little bit darker on Emma. Emma. And that means I'm going to start with E11. It's actually going to be one of the lighter colors in my combo this time. Oh, I never, hang on. I didn't make sure this was going. Let me, just so I can see, hopefully, knock on wood, we don't have any pixelation issues today. But this will let me know if we do. Okay, here we go. Just so I can see, hopefully, knock on wood, we don't have any pixelation issues today. Always fun to hear yourself not. Okay, so we're good. We're ready to go. Okay, yes, let's see a darker skin tone. We're going with E11 to start. I'm just kind of mapping out all my darkest areas that I'm going to build up color on. And she's got a little bit of neck showing under there, and her fingertips, and then a little bit of arm here between her fingerless glove and the sleeve of her kind of long sweater dress thing that she's got going on here, and her other elbow over on that side. Now I'm going to go to E13. Gets a little bit darker. I'm really going to hit the neck. It's going to be pretty dark down there just because she's got so much, the little owl, her scarf, her hair, her head being bent down. It's going to be pretty dark down under there. So I'm not going to shy away from putting a lot of dark skin tone down in there. Not leaving a lot of contrast. It's just going to be pretty heavily shadowed. And can't forget those little fingers. Okay. Now, I've got E17. And this is my darkest in the combination. So I'm trying to use a very fine touch, just hitting with the tip of my marker. And I am coloring on Copic Express It. Forgot to mention that yesterday, but it was the same yesterday as well. Now I'm back to my 13, the E13, and I'm going to start blending out. Like so. Get those dimples going on her mouth there. And now back to that E11. I'm just going to start pulling more into that white that I've left initially. You'll see I still have a little bit of white, and that's because I am still going to grab my E00, and I'm just going to do one pass of the E00, tip of the nose, the apples of her cheeks, and there kind of across the forehead. And then also the tips of those fingers there, and just the outside edge of the arms. I'm going to go over those lips as well. Okay. And now while that is saturated, I'm going to take my R20 and add a little bit of blush. And a little bit of pink to her lips as well. Just like so. And I am going to grab that E00 one more time, just to kind of help knock down the pink. Alright, I'm going to let that dry a little bit. And then I'm going to add a little bit of definition back in. But I don't want it to be very saturated because I want a little bit crisper line. So I want to be working with a drier section of the paper. That's why I'm just taking my time, let it kind of dry, lighten up. That also is a good thing. If you're unsure of, how it's looking, instead of like keep just working at it, stop, give yourself the time to let it dry, because as those, the ink dries, it lightens up, and you'll get a truer sense of where you're at with your coloring if you just pause for a moment. And instead of keep coloring at it, because it's always going to look darker when the ink is wet. So you want to give it that time, see where you're at, before you just kind of keep blending at it. So now I have a better sense of where I'm at. And I'm going to go back to my E11. I'm just going to re-hit her little dimples and the nose section here, and then just under the eyebrow and around that eye. Like so. And that makes me much happier. Okay.
Sorry, I don't know that.
Alexa is spying on me. Okay. So now we have to decide. Well, let's do her eyes. What color eyes are we going to give little Emma Everfrost today? What are you guys thinking? Where are we going to take this pretty little fairy? I know I've got 4 of you out there. I know somebody's got to have an opinion. Where are you going to lead me down today? A chestnut brown. Okay, I like that. So let's grab E35. Anna is here. Hello, Anna. Happy to have you with us, and congratulations. I saw the news today that you were joining the Crafting Kimmy team. That is awesome. They are lucky to have you and your amazing talent. So I'm just adding a little bit of color right around that black pupil. And it's so small, I'm just doing this one color, and I'm not worrying about coloring over the black and kind of losing that catch light, because I'll re-add it in at the end with the white Sharpie. So we just got a little bit of color to the eye and we're good to go. And Mel came in with green. A little too late, Mel, but next we have another decision to make. We got to figure out a hair color for Miss Emma. From the Netherlands this time. Thank you. You should be very proud of yourself. You are an amazing card artist. That is for sure. I can't wait to see what you do with all the new Crafting Kimmy goodies. So what do you gals think? What color hair should Miss Emma have today? I've given her kind of a purple hair at one point. Let's see. I've done kind of a bright purple for this one. She looked good in. She had a kind of aqua blue in this one. So what color hair should Miss Emma have today? All right, so we're taking Mel's suggestion of green for the eyes, and we're going to take it and put it in for her hair. I like it. All right, and I think we're going to go with like an icy green. There's a lot of talent out there in the world. It's nice of you to say that, but I have, luckily we live in a world full of very talented people and artists, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So G000 is where we're going to start. We're going to give Miss Emma Everfrost an icy green head of hair, and she's got quite a lot. Something with highlights. We will try to give her some cool highlights. I like that idea. And don't forget those eyebrows. And then we've got all this hair going on down here. To kind of play and have fun with as it kind of waves, falls in waves down her back. Okay. Now I've got my G00, just a little bit darker. And we're going to start building up that color. Okay, working our way. This gives you lots of practice with hair, this image does. Getting those flicking strokes going so you get some nice texture showing. And it's not too wavy, it's still pretty straight, but it gives you a little practice at going with bends and waves without being too intimidating, I think. And down here along the bottom. Do you ever use some BGs with your Gs? Yes, I do. In fact, I was kind of thinking about it with this combo as well. We'll see where it takes us. But yeah, I think they play together really nicely. And you can get some really cool looks combining, especially these low Gs like the G00, 000, 02. They can look really awesome with the BGs. Okay. So now I'm going to go to, let's see. Yeah, I mean, this is where I kind of probably would make a leap over to like a BG 13. Let me grab out the BGs. There we are. And it's even called mint green. Yeah, so here we are. Even though it's a BG, a blue-green, and its name is mint green. And so, yeah, it's going to look great with these G00, G000 that we have started our hair with. I'm going to spin her a little bit so I get a better direction on my flick. Coming down here. And now we're going to start building up our color back here. I love spending time with my family, but I already miss my Copics. It's just a color. I hear ya. It can be hard leaving them behind and not touching them for a while. I understand that completely. It's usually those times when I'm kind of away from my markers that I start getting my best ideas and like thinking about, ooh, I got that stamp and what I could do with it now. It just always seems to hit that way. That's why I like to keep a little notebook. So if I get a really good idea, I write it down and don't forget it so I can tackle it when I get back home. All right, so we went to the BG13. Now I'm going to go back to the Gs. And I'm going to go with G16, which is another one that I really like working into kind of blue-green combos, or, you know, green, blue-green combos. Because it's a green, but it's got a lot of blue undertones to it. You'll notice I'm going very heavy with my dark colors on the inside curve of her hair there, because that's going to be completely in shadow. Cool combo. Must write it down. Yes, I mean I usually write my combos down so that I can share them on my blog, but unfortunately, with these coloring videos, I just don't have the time to stop and write down each color on my little pads of paper as I'm coloring, because I want to keep it moving fairly quickly. So these cards that I do for the videos, I don't have, a color list made at the end. I mean, they're always, I can reference back to the videos at least, to see what exactly was used. But yeah, most of the time I will have the combos on my blog, but these ones, I don't get them written down. This is where I'm just going to start kind of pulling some strands. Okay. Back to my BG13. I'm still leaving quite a bit of white along that side, you'll notice, because that's where I'm going to, I'm kind of working with a light source that's coming in from the left this time. Okay. Now that G00. Now I'm thinking along the lines of that highlight suggestion, it can be kind of cool. Let's do a little play with color And let's jump to a little bit more blue of a blue-green. So like a BG01 will be fun. There we go. So I've got a BG01, and I'm just going to, just kind of on either side of our white highlight, I'm going to lay a little bit and kind of creep into that white with that BG01, and along the white highlight over here, I'm going to do the same down here. And then down here. So just hitting with a little subtle hint of that blue BG01. It's got a little less green in it than, say, the 13 that we were using. Ah, Sarah's here and she's loving the hair. Awesome. And then I'm also going to grab my Y 00. And we're going to continue to fill in that white with just a hint of yellow. Okay. And then I'm going to do one last pass. I'm wanting a little bit more contrast. Now that I've got all my base layers down and I'm happy with the highlight that we put in, but I want to break up that highlight a little bit more, get some more low lights going on in there. And I think to do that, I might be jumping back to the BGs one last time. I'm gonna risk it. I'm a little worried that it might be a little bit too much contrast, but I can fix it if it is. But I think if it works like I'm hoping it will work, it could be very pretty. There we go. So this is BG49. You were going in the same direction. I just went even a little bit. The 49 has a little bit more green to it than the 09. But they're both about the same darkness. But the reason I went 49 is just a little bit more green cast, and since that's what all our base layers are all about, that's why I went with the 49 over the 09. But you were very close. Reading my mind. I'm actually going to spin her. I apologize. But I want to get a really good, and I do my best brush strokes pulling towards me rather than away. So it's easier if I kind of flip her around. I want to darken up those eyebrows with this too. Okay. Yeah, I think this is going to work really nice. This is giving me that contrast that I was looking for. And that's why you just got to be willing to keep playing. Keep experimenting. I'm going to follow that line. Create that little dip and wave. I'm sorry I'm being so quiet. I'm just really concentrating. I don't want to mess this up with the really dark color. That is looking pretty cool. Pretty cool. Okay. Just gonna do a little bit more right up here. Okay. Now I'm going to kind of skip around, go back to that BG13. Just kind of softens that transition a little bit. Soften those lines a little bit. Okay. And one more pass, I think, of the G00. Without losing all of my yellow that I put in. Okay. Not too shabby, not too shabby. Let's see. Do I need anything else? I kind of want to grab my G16 again. And I'm just going to fuss one more time up here. Because I just apparently feel like being a fussy color today. Okay, there we go. That's getting a little bit of my green back in there. Awesome. Okay, now I'm happy. So we've got some pretty cool green hair going there, if you ask me. So thank you for all the suggestions, ladies. We are off to a great start. So now we have, let's do the big old scarf and decide what color we want that to be. What are you thinking? We've got kind of jewel toned green hair. What will look good with that? BVs. We can do BVs. Purple and green always look nice together. All right, so out of the BVs, I'm kind of leaning more towards like a 13, 17 kind of direction. So let's start with our BV02. If I can find it, there we go. 02. And then I want my 13 out. And my 17. There we go. BV23. It's a little more gray. I'm going to stick with, I do like the BV20s, but they're a little grayer than I want to go with this gal just because I've got such a bright jewel tone hair. I want to stay a little bit on the brighter side with the clothing as well. So that's why I'm going to start with a BV02. And I'm just getting down a basic color with this. And I'm not being particular about it, just getting the color down. Being careful around our little peppy penguin. Oh, it's not really about being right or wrong. It's just a design choice. That's all it is. And she could look very lovely with a more muted outfit. It would probably make the hair stand out a bit more. But I was just feeling a little bit brighter outfit on this girl. Out of the three fairies, she always seemed to be, oh, I don't know, like the youngest, the most kind of high energy of the three. The other two look very peaceful and serene and, you know, with their mug of coffee or their graceful attitude. This one seemed a little bit more playful and a little bit more upbeat to me. All right, so we've got our color down. now I'm going with BV13. And this is where I'm going to start kind of deciding where I want this scarf to kind of be rippling and, you know, catching a little bit more light here, a little bit less light there. And there's really no right or wrong. You know, it's kind of a wavy line that they're drawn in so that you can kind of pick and choose for yourself where you want the dips and curves to kind of fall. But it's totally up to you. Don't get hung up on, you know, perfection for sure. It's a knitted scarf. It's gonna, you know, not have a lot of reflective qualities to it anyway. But we just want it to kind of create that movement and motion in it. I'm just thinking this one, you know, as it's kind of curled on itself, it's going to be a lot darker on that inside of the curve. But it's also going to have some kind of waves and stuff along the way. It's a big old scarf. I kind of joked when I was drawing her. I have a sister who is an amazing knitter. She crochets and knits, and it's a skill that I do not have at all, but I'm lucky enough to get very cool things from her on occasion. And I joked about always wanting a super long scarf just like Emma's here. I never could find one that was just that big old huge long in your way impractical scarf, but it always looked so cozy to me. I don't know if she'll get on that project or not. She probably thinks I'm crazy too. All right, so now I've got BV17. Going really dark on the inside of the scarf in there. It's going to be very heavily shadowed, just like her neck that we did. And the back side of the scarf here is going to be pretty dark as well. Oh, Pam's a knitter. I have much respect for that because I have had a couple attempts at knitting and I was an epic failure. I cannot get it. And I am just in awe of all of you that can make beautiful, beautiful things to wear or even craft with. Last Christmas, I was lucky enough, my sister, she crocheted me these really cool, pretty, all these different little crochet flowers that I could use on my cards. I've used a few, but it's hard to part with them. They're so pretty. I need to get better about using them. But oh yeah, mad skills that, you know, I envy those. And it's just not going to happen for me, unfortunately, but that's okay. I was blessed with other talents. We each have our gifts, that's for sure. We were happy to have you here with us for a time, Anna. You enjoy your rest of your evening, I think, for you, or day. And yeah, we'll see you again later. Have a good one. And you can see it just basically kind of squiggling in color. Kind of my shadows there. I think I'm going to go even one step darker. and purplier with the BV08 here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This girl is all about high contrast. I can tell already. And I'm just going to continue to kind of squiggle in. I'm really not worrying about, precision or, perfect placement, or because this is all going to get blended out. And then when it's dry, I'm going to add that knit pattern to it. So a lot of this, it doesn't, it's not, you just want this base of kind of mottled color for this technique. So there's a lot of freedom and a lot of not worrying about, perfect smooth blends or, perfect, this is where it's folding, you just want to create that illusion of, some folds, some bends, some movement. You don't need it to be perfect or precise. I'm being much heavier with my pressure on that inside bit of scarf over here because it's kind of bent over on itself and covering itself, so it's going to be a bit darker. Now I'm going to work my way back down to my 17, and I'm just going to start blending it out. And this is where I'm going to kind of leave my marker on the paper longer, kind of round brush strokes, letting that color really saturate into the paper and blend, tone down that 08. I'm going to, because it was very contrast with the high contrast with the rest of this. So we're kind of knocking it down. I'm going to go a little heavier along this whole back side of the scarf over here, since it's further away from our light source as well. There. You can see I'm just kind of letting the marker sit and travel and blend. And doing the same to this. Okay. Now to the 13. Once again. I'm just starting to kind of eat into all that light space that I've been leaving. Creep into it. Do the same all along here. Okay. And then we're back to our initial color that we laid down, that BV02. And I'm just going to do the final blend out in all those light areas using it. Okay, that looks really good. I mean, it's not like really great if I was going to be leaving it as is, but for what I'm going to be doing, that is exactly what I want. Now, I just got to move on, let that dry. I really want to make sure that's dry before I do the second part. So when I'm doing something like that, it's best to just move on to a different part of the image and give that time to dry and then come back to it later. So while our scarf is drying, let's do her dress and let's pick a color for that. What do you guys think? We've got purple and green going on. What would look nice on her little kind of cozy tunic sweater dress thing that she's wearing back there? What do you think? Oops. Any ideas from you lovely ladies out there? Oh, Pam makes crocheted flowers too. Pam, you're awesome. What do you guys think? Where are we going to take this gal next? Any suggestions? Any suggestions? Or are you going to make me think? I can do that, I guess. Looking at the heads chart, what direction do we want to go? Pam, different shade of purple or blue? I like blue. I like going with blue. Let's do that. Okay, so let's go with, how did I miss this? Dana, you haven't missed it completely. You caught us about halfway through this first one. We just done the hair and the scarf, and we're about to tackle her little dress. So, we're just happy that you caught us in time for that. We are going with a blue dress. So I'm going to grab out like a B04. I'm sticking with kind of the brighter end of things. Look at that, nice and bright. She is not shy about color, Miss Emma Everfrost. I think that'll help make for a cheery little card, which I kind of sense is the direction this is going, considering we've got little Pepe down there, either dancing around or begging to be picked up like his little brother up there. Either way, it's going to have a fun vibe to it. Okay. So I've got a base of B04 down. Now I'm going to go to B06. There we are. Really pretty peacock blue. Alright, so you'll notice I'm not taking my B06 right up to that black line. I'm leaving a little bit of space. And that just kind of helps create that illusion of reflected light over on that side of the garment. Now I've got the inside of the arm here. It's going to be darker. And then, of course, in here, it's going to be pretty shadowed. And I'm going to do the same, longer hip, where I'm not taking it right up against that black line. I'm going to leave some space. create that dimension. It's going to help make it look like it's round and it's like curving around her hip and thigh away from the viewer's eye. Just an easy little trick to add some dimension that way. So now from our B06, I'm going to make a leap. And I'm going to leap up to B37. I like these 37, 39s with these lower bright blues. They give a really nice contrast without losing that kind of bright, playful look. And a little will go a long way. Okay. And because there is a big leap, I'm keeping my dirty B37 cap out for a moment, and I'm going to use my B06 to pick up some of that 37 ink. I should be doing tip to tip because my markers should be cleaner than this, but we have gone through that before, and you guys know me by now. That marker maintenance is not at the top of my list, unfortunately, but I should be better about it. I should make a New Year's resolution to get better about it. Unfortunately, I know myself well enough that I don't think I would be able to keep to that resolution. Okay, so there we go. Very nice. And then we'll finish off with one more pass of that B04. Just in those lighter areas to blend into that mid-tone. And then alongside the back here of both the arm and her hip. Pretty. Good call on the blue. Okay. So now we've got one more color choice in her tights. And the same color we're going to use on the tights, we're going to use on her little fingerless gloves there too. So what do you guys think for that? What do you envision? Her tights, I mean, it's small. It's a small little thing, not much color, but it could have a big impact depending on how you guys go. Who's got an idea? We've got some pretty jewel tones. T says golden brown. I think I would stay away from the golden brown because we went with a darker skin tone on her. I would be afraid of it being too matchy-matchy up on her gloves. And it would look like skin down on her legs. And I don't want her to be cold. So thank you for the suggestion, but I think we'll go a different direction this time. Let me see. I'm kind of leaning. Oh, Julie, you didn't realize how late it is. That's okay. That's okay. You can always catch us on the replay, but we're not finished yet, so you still got some time here. Oh, Julie, you missed the beginning of the video. You were the random winner of the voting poll this morning. So congratulations on that. And you'll have your pick of a digi. So once I get done with this video, I can hook you up with something. If you just PM me and let me know. All right. Pam's dark pink. You're kind of going in the same direction I was thinking, Pam. I was going with the RVs. And then I think we'll save the black for her boots. Because I was kind of going up here to the RV60s. I thought they could look nice. So like RV63. And the RV66. If I can find it. There it is. You purchased the special deal yesterday. Well, that's okay. We can still hook you up with a Digi. So, don't worry about that. And I can't wait to see what you do with these girls. Hopefully you'll have time to color this month. And just like on her dress up there, you'll notice I'm leaving a little bit of space by that black line back there. Awesome. Thank you. You are welcome. And now, so I'm at my 66. Now the decision is, I'm actually thinking instead of sticking with RVs, I'm going to be back to that BV08. And I'm going to try this out. I don't know what it's going to do, but I think we can make it work. Yeah, it's very dark. That's okay. That's okay. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bridge again. So I've got another very dirty cap with a BV08. And I'm going to pick up with that RV66. And that's going to help me blend those two out together. Yeah, that's cool. That'll do the trick. I mean, think about this. I mean, Copic has what, 300 and plus markers in their range, which you would think would be enough. But look at the possibilities you get. You know, the new color combinations when you're just willing to kind of mix them together, you know, pick them up, see what you get. It just makes the possibilities endless with these, which is awesome. And why I'm such a big fan of them in the first place. I just love kind of the versatility of them. And there's an easiness with them. Out of all the mediums that I've played with over my lifetime, you know, paints and watercolors and all that, these are the ones for me anyway, that it just all seemed to click. And it's what did it for me, what made me fall in love with them. Okay, I like that. Kind of a dark pinky purple. Dana's got a plan to get all the chow markers. Is that your 2019 resolution? Have them all before the end of the year? It's not a bad plan. I know you colored last month. I'm just always hopeful that you'll be able to color again this month, Julie. Yes, the deal is still good today. This is the last, we have it for the 48 hours starting yesterday. So all through today, the bundle deal is still going strong. You get all three of the fairies, and then you get the woodland critters that go with them thrown in for free. So that is still going good today. Now, since we've given our scarf time to dry, I'm going to take my darkest in the scarf combo, which was that BV08 as well. There we go. And now I'm going to start. This is going to be kind of like when we worked on the cloak yesterday. It's not a hard technique. It's just a little time consuming. So we're going to put in a cable knit all along her scarf here. And that simply starts by drawing in a bunch of lines. And the closer the lines are together, the tighter the knit. And the further apart they are, the looser the knit. I'm sure that Pam could tell us all about that, our little resident knitter that we have here today. This is my knitting, Pam. This is as close as I get to knitting a scarf. It's on my images. And believe me, that's the only ones you want to see from me. And again, you don't have to worry about the lines being super precise or smooth, because we're going to be adding in the little, the stitching, the knits, whatever they're called. I'm not a knitter. Don't pretend to be one. The stitches, I think. And so, any little flaws in your long lines are going to get covered up at the end anyway. Oh, we've got another. Dana's got skills going on with the knitting too. I was, telling everybody, I'm envious of anybody who can do that, because it is a skill that was not bestowed upon me. The scarf, I think the first thing I tried to do was a scarf, and it's like where it goes, woo, starts getting wider, and then it waves a bit. I just, I couldn't do it. Could not do it. So mad props to all you gals that can. Okay. Now, well, look at that. Julie's a knitter and a crocheter too. I am just surrounded by talent. Not that I wasn't already. You've got double talent. I've got one skill, and that's about all I can lay claim to, but that's all right. So the difference now, you don't want to make the mistake of doing vertical lines on this part of the scarf, because when you think about this as one long scarf, we've got our line going, and so this part that's wrapped around her, the lines would be coming this way now. So that's just a quick tip. It's a mistake you don't want to fall into the first time you're trying your hand at this on a scarf. And then they don't have to, I don't worry too much about them like I lined up all my things, because with it kind of bending and folding on itself, some of those stitches are going to be hidden Anyway. Your grandma? Oh, my grandma, on my mother's side, is a knitter, and always made us really cool gifts at Christmas. And like, we got blankets from her at, graduations and stuff like that. And always admired what she could do with them. I still got all the things she gave me. Self-taught knitters. Okay, so I'm still with that BB-08. Okay, so we've got all our lines in. And now it's time to start diving in and making the actual little stitch marks. And it's really not hard either. I just kind of it doesn't matter where you start. I tend to start in the middle, a lot of the time just cause. And I'm going to just start and I pick a direction and I kind of start doing hash marks. So like for this one, I'm going hash marks down diagonal. And I'm just going to do that all along the scarf. Okay, and then on the other side of it now, it's going to be up diagonal. You're just using the tip of your marker. Do these quick little hash marks. And now now you're down diagonal again. And you just alternate. On your lines. And you just keep repeating that pattern until you've filled in the entire object that you are coloring. So up diagonal. I'm sure you could use a fine tip pen for this part. Just make sure you've got all your Copic stuff done first, and then grab a fine tip pen if that's what you're more comfortable with, and go to town. I don't see why you couldn't. And now I'm back to up diagonal. And I've got a little bit of space here. Doesn't go all the way up, but I'm kind of down diagonal, finishing off. And it kind of ends there. So now I'm going to go over here. I'm down diagonal. And then the up diagonal. So like I said, not hard, just a little time consuming. Just making all these little marks. Okay, and then we're going to do the same on the back side of this side of the scarf. Just picking a place to start, and this time I did it at the edge. going back up. And then down. And this, as it gets darker, you know, it'll hide a lot of flaws. So I just kind of start flicking in. If it doesn't line up perfectly, nobody's going to notice. Okay. Yes, I'll be coming back on at 3. We will be doing the background at this afternoon. Now we've got just the top part of the scarf, so I'm kind of flipping her this way, and I'm going to do the same technique where I'm just going to kind of pick a stroke. So got that, and I'm going to try to stay consistent all along there. And then now I'm going to do the opposite stroke on the next line. And just keep playing with those stitches. And this gets a little lost. That's okay, because it's all bent on itself, so we're not going to see them. It's not perfectly laid out flat, and that's okay. So we're just going to continue that. All right, so in here, I'm going to go this way, up, and down, and up. Okay, we have a knitted scarf, just like that. Dana's going to take off. We were glad you could stop and say hi this morning. We'll see you this afternoon. All right, so now we had the suggestion of black boots. So we're going to do that. And I'm going to go with, I think, ends. They're cooler, so they'll go nicely with all our cool colors, our greens, blues, and purples. But they're not quite as cold as the seas, the cool grays, which can go a little bit more metallic looking. So that's why I'm making that decision. So I'm just going to grab out, let's go N6. And again, I'm not going to worry about those little bands on her boots, because I'm going to make them a darker black at the end. If you were wanting them to be lighter than the boot, then of course you would want to be more careful as you color around them. Okay, so that was N6. Now I'm going to jump up to N8. I'm going underneath that kind of rough. It's going to have a drop shadow beneath it. Now, kind of like I did up on her dress, I'm not going to take these darker colors right against that black line. I'm going to leave a little bit of space. Create that illusion of the fabric bending around her leg. Same on this one. Okay. Now I want my N10. And I'm just kind of skipping up. Because I started with an even number, 6, I just kind of stick with evens, 6, 8, 10. If I had started with 5, I'd go 5, 7, 9. Wouldn't make a huge difference. So whatever you've got in your gray collections, that's how when I got started, when I was building my collection with the grays, I picked odds, and I just got the odds of the various gray families. And for the longest time, that's all I had. And it really, it was fine. And then once I got all the rest of my colors added to my collection, that's when I started filling in the rest of the grays. And it's nice to have them. And it's nice to have the choices. But as you're building your collection, I think you can definitely get away with either going evens or odds. And that'll go a long way for a long time in your coloring. And 6. And if I wanted these to be super shiny boots, I would be leaving a little bit of white. But I want them to have the look of kind of a more soft leather to them. So I'm going to fill that in. Okay. I'm going to use the very light ends. So like N1. I'm going to start building up the fuzz on her boot tops. And that's just like we did yesterday on the cloak, where I'm just kind of stipling in dots of color, being tight where I want it to be darker. I'm going to loosen up the dots where I want it to be lighter, be more widely spaced. And now I want like an N2 or 3, whatever I find first. Here we go, N3 will work. And again, just stipling in with a not being so heavy-handed with this darker one. I'm doing really fine little dots. Like so. And I'm going to go back to my N1. I'm just going to bring this out and around a little bit more here. Okay. So that looks really good. I'm going to grab 110. 100 would work just as fine as well. Either of the dark blacks. And I'm just going to put those bands back in on her boots. Okay. Now we've just, where are we at? 12:30. We've got time to do a couple quick little penguins. We've got time, I think. 12:30. You know what? Let's take a break. We will do the penguins and our background at when we come back at 3, because I don't think with the background I have in mind it's not going to take super long, so I think we're best served to do our little penguins during that video as well. So thank you all for joining me this morning, getting this first half of our Emma Everfrost card done, and for all your great color suggestions. I think this is going to be a really fun, really pretty card when we get it all wrapped up. For now, I'm going to go take a break, grab some lunch, and I will hopefully see you all back here at 3 p.m. PST for the last half of the card. Have a good one. I'll talk to you in a bit. Bye.